Jose, then we were in Napa, then we were in Sacramento, then we were in Calaveras County in one weekend. It was 1,000 miles. Anyways, it was a pilot program for CSAA. And then now the program is, they've done their program and we'll see where it goes from there. So again, industry's responding.
Yeah.
So when we apply it, not just us, when companies apply fire retardant, they're using it through high pressure pumps. And they're able to put it exactly, you know, this plane is taking a ton of it and just flat putting it out over an area. Very effective, but very expensive. Each drop, what's a drop out of it? What would that be right there, Jay?
You're looking about, if it's a small plane, so looking about $20,000.
20 grand, 20 grand to drop. We're able to come in and pinpoint it exactly where it needs to go. So it makes it effective, makes it efficient, makes it affordable. We're able to get out there and do it. Everything from a high pressure pump to backpack. You know, who are you going to call?
Yeah.
Right?
Make April do it.
I do. actually, in Calaveras County, these ladies are looking at me.
Yeah.
Because here
nice
I am
guy.
sitting at the pump and she's dragging this hose all over the place. I'm going, yeah. And these ladies are like, "You gonna let me do that?" You bet I am. And then up to large tanker vehicles. This is we can mix up to 2,000 gallons at a time. This is where this picture was taken at the Rose Bowl. We were working with the Pasadena Fire Department. We mixed and applied about 19,000 gallons of fire retardant in one day. And then we can take that and we can put evacuation routes. We can put a line of Phos-Chek that's 50 feet wide by 2 miles long out of a large vehicle. So and again, other companies have these vehicles as well. Homeowners associations. This is one in Redlands. All the homeowners came together, even everyone inside. When you divide the cost up by the homes, it becomes affordable per homeowner. You know, if all of a sudden it's $25 for the year, and they can put a Phos-Chek line around, yeah. So it's much more cost effective to do it this way than an individual homeowner. Because I could come in and Phos-Chek this hillside, but this guy didn't do anything, and the radiant heat burned this guy's house down. It's a community problem. Special events. This is where we used it at the Rose Bowl for the 4th of July. We also have another city that contracted with us for their fireworks show. 2 years in a row, both years, it prevented a wildfire. This year we had a firework that went off sideways, didn't set the brush on fire. Last year, someone came in about 6 weeks after and tried to set the vegetation on fire that wouldn't light. So very successful. We can come in and pre-treat water reservoirs or communication sites prior to a fire. I can do this in August, knowing it's not going to rain, and then if you have a fire in November, it's going to come up to the Phos-Chek line and protect your infrastructure. This was critical in 1993, 30 years ago, same day as the Laguna fire, the same week. October 28th, 30 years ago, Kenaloa in Altadena, Pasadena, lost 196 homes. Water system went out. Fire hit the water system before, power went out, pumps went off, hydrants were dry. 196 homes. So housing developments. We can put a fire retardant line around the development, so whatever construction isn't going to set fire to the vegetation. Once the development's in place, we can continue to do this annually to prevent the vegetation from setting the homes on fire. So it works both ways. Putting in new roadways in the mountains, you can see all the problems that can happen with this machine. Well, at a very small fraction of the cost of putting in the road, a company can come in, put fire retardant on each side so you don't accidentally start a fire. Exterior water systems and foam systems. When I told you the one story about the house that didn't need it, that doesn't mean those systems aren't needed or effective. They're appropriate where they're appropriate. And we have vetted companies that we work with that if we need a fire sprinkler system, maybe it's not the whole side, maybe it's one side of the house. So those are options. This is part of the frosting of the cupcake. Automatic fire doors, frosting on the cupcake. Yes, sir.
Before, with the previous slide, this one, do you do also, I mean, does it work also if you put the sprinklers to to water the roofs or no?
I'm going to mention that in a few minutes. We're going to talk about evacuation and things you can do prior to evacuation. Fire gels. Okay, this is big, 15, 20 years ago. Very effective, but there's a caveat to them. They only last like 30, 45 minutes. You're already going to be gone. You're going to be evacuated. So it is effective, and I'll show you why it's effective. Fire pumps. We're getting a lot of insurance companies requiring fire pumps. So you install fire pumps, but you also have to train on the fire pumps. And not just how to use them, but when to use them. More importantly, when not to use them. I'm not going to get you a fire pump and show you how to use it and make you a firefighter in an afternoon. Okay? If you want to get the equipment, some companies are required. It is a good thing. And here's why it's good. Every time we do a fire pump or gels, we make a sign that's this big. When you evacuate, you put your equipment out there, you set that sign, and you evacuate. And I can tell you, and any firefighter could tell you, if I'm driving down the street and I'm trying to protect a cul-de-sac of homes, and I got to triage the homes, like which one's going to survive, which one am I going to write off, how am I going to do this, and I see this sign, I'm going to take a firefighter to go in and use your equipment to fight this fire, because I don't have to take it off my fire engine. If I decide this is where we're going to make our stand, and I pull all my equipment on, and I got my hose and all this stuff, and all hell breaks loose, and I got to leave, I got to disconnect my hose and get out of there. Well, now I'm driving away without my equipment, so I don't have the equipment to fight the next house. If you have the equipment there, I'm going to put a firefighter there, knowing I'm going to use it, and if I got to run, I'm going to run, and I'm running with all my equipment. So this is very effective, and that goes both for the fire pump and the barricade gel, or thermogel. Yes?
How long does the gel last?
So the gel is like 30, 45 minutes. It depends on...
I mean, if you've got it in a can.
Yeah, I haven't heard of a shelf life. We do have to shake it up.
And it will say there, barricade is about 2.5 to maybe 2 to 2.5 years.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, and it says right there, each one bottle says in there. So good point. If you buy some product, you gotta make sure they're still viable.
Yep. Yep. IBHS, back to the IBHS, we talked about it earlier. They did all the testing, and they came out with the science, and you can find this on their website. This is nothing different than what you're seeing on the CAL FIRE website. It's a little different, but it's all the same thing. We're all speaking the same language and know the science behind this. This is OP's house, our president of our company. This is the very first Wildfire Prepared Plus that's ever been certified.
Oh, wow.
Okay, the program's only in California right now. This is the very first Wildfire Prepared Plus. There was another home in Paradise that was built from the ground up. That's a wildfire prepared home. I don't believe they're the plus though. No, they're not plus. They're wildfire prepared. So that was the first home. This one's the second wildfire prepared, the first plus home, and it's the only one that's been retrofitted to become wildfire prepared as opposed to new. Now, since
What
then,
does plus mean?
so they've got 2 levels of protection. One of them is
They're very stringent. The
it's
requirements.
difficult.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
It's 2 certifications.
So
There's a
one
level.
certification is all the stuff we've been talking about. Okay, the plus is removing back-to-back fencing, replacing all your windows in your house with dual-pane tempered windows. You can't have another structure within 30 feet of your house. So if you've got a detached garage, it needs to be 30 feet away. So it's not an easy one to get. We were able to get it for that one. We got it for another house in Malibu. So there's 2 plus homes. Now Allied has a partnership with IBHS. We do training for them, and we do the certification of homes. Once you get the IBHS certification, it's good for 3 years, and it shows that you are IBHS Wildfire Prepared Home. Now, what does that mean now? Eventually, the hopes is you've got that, and insurance companies are going to look at it. Because remember, insurance companies paid for all this research. And the idea is you get this certification, insurance company is going to go, yep, I'm going to insure this one because I know that that's done and it's been certified and it's good for 3 years. That's where this is going. It's not there yet. I think that we're a year into this happening. But it sure looks pretty. You can go shopping and show an insurance company, look what I've done. So
Now that works even better when it's community-wide. So that's-
absolutely. Again, it starts with the homeowner, but it's the whole community. Wildfire monitoring notifications. So everyone who's here today, we confirmed they're going to go into the red zone. So you're going to get in the red zone. So you'll get notifications. There'll be an email going out so they can notify your home if there's a fire within the area. And you can set the parameters. If there's a fire within 10 miles of here, your phone goes up, hey, there's a fire.
We got that.
Yep.
I think we got that.
Okay. So we're making that available to everybody. The CAL FIRE Ready, Set, Go. Is this app still active?
Yes.
Okay. So I know it was down for a little while. So if you go to the App Store, Ready, Set, Go, or is it Prepared for Wildfire? Prepared for Wildfire. There's an app. On that app, it gives you the Ready, Set, Go for evacuations. It gives you everything you need to do for defensible space, hardening your home, preparing for the bark beetle, any other things that relate to fire. And it'll show you where fires are in California. Here's all the fires that are burning. You can click on the fire, and it'll tell you everything about the fire. How many firefighters are there? How big is the fire? How much containment? All the information. So it's kind of cool. That's another app that's available. Pulse Point. How many of you have heard of Pulse Point? Okay, Pulse Point's another one that you download. It's free. You put in your local fire department, and then you can set the parameters. I don't recommend all parameters because when they get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, you're going to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. So don't click the medical one, but you can click it for wildfires or house fires. And then when they get called out to a house fire, your phone activates you. Oh, they have a house fire. Oh, and I can click a little button and listen to the radio, and listen to them talk. It's kind of fun. But that's another one that you can set up for different areas to know if there's a wildfire. How many of you have your emergency evacuation plan? Okay, you should put together an emergency evacuation plan. And this is the one we provide for our clients. I got a secret. I didn't make this up. I went to CAL FIRE Ready, Set, Go program. It's all spelled out for you. I just did this in a different layout because I'm helping someone, help them along. Okay, I can tell you today, go to wildfire.org, go get your plan, and right now you're going, that's a good idea. I'm going to do that.
We put it in the bags.
In between,
It's in the bag.
Between here and home, you get a phone call. Oh, that's right, the soccer game. I'm on my way up to the soccer game, and then I got to do this. And then all of a sudden, 3 weeks from now, remember that presentation? Richard's pretty good. What are you talking about? Oh, fire stuff. And I said, you got to follow through, right? So we try to make it as easy as we can for homeowners. We give them their evacuation routes so they don't have to look it up. Try to make it easy but you can do this on your own. It doesn't need to come from a company, but we do that for people. But go do your plan, and the information's in your handouts. So on your evacuation plan, prepare, and stay aware. So this is the CAL FIRE Wildfire Action Plan. Very simple. You just got to sit down and do it. Let's talk about evacuations. I know. So yes.
You had a question?
Oh, I just, no, keep going.
Okay. We're bringing it into the home stretch here. So I know one of the things we want to talk about was evacuations. So I had another PowerPoint that I did on evacuations. Been using it for years. And I tried to pull it together yesterday. Last night at 10 o'clock it crashed. So I was up till 1 o'clock this morning finishing this. So you may see spelling errors because I was 1 o'clock in the morning. I think I got all of them. But so I was trying to pick and get things in here, maybe for some aha moments, maybe to get some dialogue going, just things to think about. These are all things that you're going to find in the handout. So we're going to go through this pretty quick. So evacuation advisories. During a wildfire, there's 2 different warnings. You've got an evacuation warning, which they'll put out to the community saying, we're giving you a warning that you may have to evacuate. The potential of the fire coming here is real. You may have to evacuate. I'm going to tell you, if you get a warning, put your plan together and evacuate. You want to go as early as you can. And then you've got an evacuation order. And that's where they come through with the sheriffs and they're saying, evacuate, evacuate, evacuate. Again, please evacuate. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Plan for your 6 P's. People. You need to consider people with special needs that may need to get out earlier, need more time. Pets. We love our pets. We love our pets more than our children sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Leashes, carriers, pet medications, things like that. Where are you going to take your pets? Do you have someone at the daycare or a relative's house you can take them to? Your papers. Location of important documents. Again, I'll touch on this again. Phone numbers. Keep a list of numbers. If you're going to call your son or daughter, how do you find them in your phone?
I just type in the number.
The number or the name?
The name.
Then a lot of
I
people,
do
it's the
both.
name.
But most of the time,
Do they-
the name.
How am I even sure if I know my own phone number? I do, but I don't know April's number. She's April. Well, what if my phone's dead and I need to get a hold of April? So in my wallet, I have a list of phone numbers. Sorry, April, I don't have your phone number in my wallet. But I got my brother's phone number. I got my brother's phone number in Minnesota. And I got family contacts because I may have to borrow someone else's cell phone. I need to make a contact. My brother. How come you don't have my brother's number on your phone? So have those phone numbers available. Prescriptions, eyeglasses, have extras for your go bag, and that's going to be in other information you're going to get. Pictures, irreplaceable memorabilia, your computer, your hard drive, etc. I'm going to touch on this. Before the evacuation, start your evacuation plan today. Okay? Maintain the vegetation in your property all year long. You're 0 to 5, you're 5 to 30, you're 30 to 30 to 100. See, I got myself. Have that all year long and talk to your neighbor about it. Make sure they keep maintaining their properties. That's your first step. Okay? Post your address on your home. Okay, on the curb, if they got them on the curb, that's great. On the home, that's for both medical and fire. And another reason that I'm going to bring up in a few minutes, hopefully it's an aha moment for you. Evacuation, review and update your insurance policy. How many of you have done that? Make sure your insurance does what it's supposed to do. A lot of times, if your insurance policy is $200, $250 a square foot rebuild. Okay, that just as a number, and that was actually a real number several years ago. Is it that today? Okay, and even if it is, let's say it's 400. Okay, it's 400. Okay, I can do my house for 400. Until it's all of the houses. Now what do you have?
The materials are short.
Material shortage, contractor shortage. There are people with multi-million-dollar homes. There's a movie star. This house burned down in the Woolsey fire. When was the Woolsey fire?
2018.
2018. They still haven't rebuilt their house. And these are people with means. Availability. Plan check at the city. If I inundate the city with 200 house plans, it's going to take you a year to get through this because I only have one plan check. Home Depot's out of materials because 200 homes are trying to get rebuilt. I don't have contractors because they're so. Is your insurance policy going to cover a wildfire? Video your home inside out with narration. It's funny, at 1 o'clock in the morning I was changing this to get a VHS recorder and go around and make a VHS tape of your house and make sure you take that tape to work or someone else's house. Well, now obviously nowadays we have it right here on our phone, right? Go into your house today, okay? Go into your living room, look at this wall and say, that's my TV. It's a 54-inch Samsung and I bought it 2 years ago and this is this. Because what happens in a wildfire? You evacuate, your home's gone, your insurance company says, I'm here to help. Write down everything you lost.
Oh my gosh.
Every piece of silverware.
Could you do that right now? You probably couldn't do that right now. And we're having a good time. We're having pastries, we're listening to Rich, and hey, this is a beautiful morning. You didn't lose everything. Put yourself in the aspect that you've got the clothes on your back and that's it. And please tell me everything else. Don't put yourself in that position. And the insurance company, do you think they want to pay for everything?
No.
They want to pay for everything that you tell them you lost.
Right.
Okay? And if you forget something, they're not going to say, are you sure there isn't anything else I need to give you money for?
What about this or what about that?
Okay?
Rich, not
Yes.
to bog things down, but to piggyback on what Della said, we were talking about this very subject because this is what we do the other day, and somebody said, "Do you know how much your average silverware drawer has? How much money is in it?" And it was like $700. And so you might not mention that at the but it's a lot of money in your drawers. There's a lot of money.
And when they hand you this packet, you can hand them a flash drive.
Yeah.
So do that. Do yourself that favor. Okay? Because we've seen it. Yeah.
Another thing that happened when we had the fires here, we had friends that lost their home over on Lake Hodges. They said to be sure to grab your bills because SDG&E and all these others don't care that your house burnt down.
That's right.
They want their money.
That's a great idea.
Yep. Excellent. Important documents. Make sure you scan them. A lot of times we've got that now. Nowadays, I used to, again, it said make Xerox copies of them and put the original somewhere else and keep the copy. Yeah, scan your important documents if they're not already scanned. Some documents have to have originals. Like death certificates, those are usually easy to get. A deed to a house, a trust with a wet stamp. Those are all things that are important. Especially like a trust. How are you going to redo that? Get that trust, right?
You can also scan everything into a Google Drive, so you don't have to go around looking for that flash drive. If it's in a Google Drive, if you make a folder with all your documents in there, you can access it from anybody can access it.
Upload it from the cloud.
Yeah, do it from the cloud, so you're definitely protected.
Keep the copies of original documents like the trust, the deed, and the things that you need the originals. Keep them somewhere else, not in your home. But make copies of them, and then if you really need it, I'm dealing with that right now with a very close friend who passed away, and I'm the trustee for the estate. And I went to get some stuff done. He said, "This is a copy that I need the wet stamp copy of this trust." And I'm thinking, "Holy moly!" I'm trying to track that down. So keep copies at your house and the original somewhere else. Back up your computer. I think most of us do this anyway. Go in and make a USB drive with all your documents. Take your documents, put it on a drive, take it somewhere else, upload it into the cloud, store it off site. These are all different things. I'm trying to stimulate ideas for you. You may have better ideas. Make copies, digital copies of old photos. Any other ideas, things that you think of that are not replaceable that maybe you can make a copy or whatever? Make a list of items that you take if you had to evacuate. So, this weekend, what a great plan. You've got to evacuate. I keep picking on you. I'm not going to pick on you anymore. I'll pick on you. Anyway, all of you. You guys, there's a fire. You got half an hour. Get your stuff. Let's go. Do that today. What are you going to take? Because now you got time to do it. Okay? I'm going to take, you know what? This is really not that important. Really? I think it is, but it's not that important. Go find all that stuff today and make a list. Make a list of what it is and where it is. And maybe consolidate things. My mom, she lived in the Wui area, and she has all these old photo albums that are sitting up on the shelf, gathering dust. Every once in a while, pull them out. We took them all out and put them in a suitcase. And they're in the hall closet. She doesn't need to see them every day, but if company comes over, want to see those, got it, Mom. I get the suitcase. We lay out all that, and we have a great time. When we're done, it's in the suitcase. And now, there's a wildfire. That suitcase has got to go. And maybe I've got two suitcases. Maybe one's got other important documents, things that I don't need every day, but I definitely don't want to lose. Consolidate them into suitcases and put them by the front door. You throw them in the car, you're ready to go. You're not running around trying to figure out, A, what I need to take, and A, where is it? Do that today. Keep items in one place, suitcases, have a written plan of where everything is. No two ways out of your community. We already talked about that. Is there one way?
Is this one?
It's either that gate or the gate down there.
There's no fire roads or extra? Okay. So how many of you use both of those ways every day?
Not every day.
Okay. So here's what you should do. Start using both of those. And not just in the daytime, at night. We're used to driving in the daytime and what everything looks like, and we don't realize that we have landmarks that we subconsciously look at. And let's see that house. I know where I am. That's that house. I know exactly where I am. At night, do you know where you are? Because you can't see the house. Okay. So use those routes daytime and nighttime, so you're used to them.
The fire department wouldn't allow a community that has only one exit, right?
Not a new community.
Not in
I think we still have an easement on the little gate
That's why I'm
that
asking.
goes out that way.
Okay.
And
So
boards have said we don't want that, we don't care about that, but I keep remembering there is a way out to that community.
At the
that's
pump
exactly why
At
I
the
asked
pump
the
house?
question.
Is that the pump
Past
house?
the pump house,
Okay.
out that way, down that little gate, and there's a
Oh,
gate
okay.
in our fence.
Oh,
and
good.
people
Good to know.
behind have put plants and mounds there.
Okay.
I think they
We'll look
could
into that. Thank you.
So, which is why I asked the question. Oh, there is another way.
There is.
Where? Now, even if
There
I
has
can't
been.
drive it, can I walk that way? Can I carry my
sure.
suitcases? Oh,
There you
absolutely.
go.
Okay.
But you can't
Does
get
everyone
off the
know?
gate.
No.
Okay.
So,
That's why we're having discussions here. What?
down
Yes, Jay.
past the pump house. There,
We'll get.
you know,
We're going to get the information to
They're
you.
gonna get
The
it,
Fire
yeah.
Safety Council will get you
Thank you.
information.
We
So
will.
Yes, Jay.
warning, so having worked in
Yeah.
and that is that make sure when you do get that done, you coordinate with your local sheriff's or police department. They're going to be in charge of the evacuation, so they know people are living through there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they may not that you're there, and somebody might have an operation going on in there, something.
We'll add it to our
It's-
CWPP if
There you go.
it's
but
possible.
make sure the CWPP is a non-legal document. It's just a
Yeah.
planning document.
Right.
I will make sure that your local
We'll get buy-in.
police
Yeah.
and that and they will tell you if it's good to use or not, because there must be a reason why all that is in there,
Right.
because they might be also okay with that. In my neighborhood, we have one that is blocked, and what they don't want to do is dump 250 homes one way in, one way out, to another community that also has one
Sure.
way in, one way out.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's what they have a block, and the fire department, and especially police department, is okay with that. So just make sure you do your research
Will
before
do.
you
Yeah.
make it available for them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But in an emergency, that's life safety.
Yeah.
Life safety is life safety. We have a
Cut a lock and
LA
go.
County wash running through the middle of my community. And I told, as we're going through this presentation, it's
Oh, I see.
13 feet down and the concrete rock walls, and it leads straight through the middle of the community now. So
Looks
someone
safe
asked,
to me.
wouldn't that be a good idea? That would be a great idea. Then I showed the picture of the do not trespass sign for LA County flood, and I said, so do not go into the wash in an emergency. Do not take a ladder. Do not take a 14-foot ladder and put it by this bridge so you can get down and then walk that way to get out of the community. Do not do that. Okay?
Yeah.
I can't tell you to trespass. I can't tell you to go into the wash, but again, we're talking science and life safety. What can we do? Right? So look for those options and those things. Drive the routes at night. Anybody seen the pictures of this is Paradise? 10 o'clock in the morning. You can barely see the car in front of you.
Wow.
These are people driving on roads in their own community that they've been driving for 20 years,
Get out. Yeah.
and they can't get out. Okay?
That's,
It's easy to say, oh, this is simple. It's harder when it's at night, and it's harder when you can't see 50 feet in front of you.
What about the gates when the fire knocks the power out? How do we get out with the
They
gate?
open
have
automatically.
batteries.
They automatically
Emergency
open.
batteries.
They
So-
do.
As soon as you lose power, the
Oh,
gates
really?
automatically open.
Oh, they-
That's
I
awesome. And
didn't
they
know
probably
that.
have a release to them as well. There's different
Drive
gates in
through.
different ways.
And the fire department
So if
also
you
has,
can't
has,
see-
has a way to open
If you
it.
That's
can't
not
see
key.
50 feet in front of you, even if you're on a road that you drive for the last 20 years, where are you located? You don't have the reference of that house. So, back to our numbers on the curb. If I could see the curb number, and in my glove box, I have a map that shows these are the addresses. I'm like, I have no idea where I am. Well, wait a minute. I see a curb number. I see 205. Oh, I'm right here. Okay, I just got to keep going. I thought of this one at 1 o'clock in the morning. I thought it was pretty cool. Something to
That's
think about.
good.
You know, put it in your glove box so you don't run into this situation and go, I have no idea where I am. Okay. Or maybe there's, speed bumps. Well, that's that speed bump. I know where that is. Or someone who, different cars, different houses, different things that you recognize. Start taking note of geographic locations that if I'm in a 100-foot area and that's all I can see, do I know where I am? So just something to think about. Practice your plan. Attend city council meetings. Do your plan today, right? Go evacuate. Okay? That way it's not a surprise. You know what you're going to do. When fire strikes, the sooner you get out, the better. You don't have to wait to be told to evacuate. Do it on your own. If you're told to evacuate, please evacuate. This is coming from a firefighter. Can I force you to leave your property? No. I'm telling you, as a firefighter, please. We have the equipment. We need to get the equipment in there. We can fight this fire. We don't want to have to worry about someone who's there. Okay? Yes.
I have a question. Should you lock your homes when you
Let's talk
leave?
about it. Good point. The fire, we're going to talk about that in a second. If the fire's in your neighborhood, just leave. Go. Okay? Equipment's coming. You don't want to get caught up in it. Don't wait for the authorities to tell you to evacuate. Be prepared to evacuate on foot. Are you going to have to go through that gate down there? Maybe. Do you know where that goes? Do you know where it dumps
There's
you
a
out?
street.
Does
Yeah.
anyone else know?
Oh, well,
And
go look at it.
if there's a wildfire blowing through here and all these houses are on fire and I got to get away on foot, know where that gate is and where it ends up.
And
that may
is
save
it
your life.
locked? Is the gate locked?
Yes.
Those are all things.
Those are all things we got to figure
Those are all
out.
things you got to think about. Okay.
And there's mounds built behind the fence now because
So
we didn't
get familiar
keep
with it.
them from doing that.
Okay. If there's a fire in the area within a
What's
few
that?
miles of here, okay, consider
We've had that.
evacuating.
We've had that.
Yeah, of course we all have, right? Consider evacuating. You don't have to wait. Pack your car, back the cars in the driveway, leave the keys in the ignition. Don't be looking for keys. Seen that many times. Turn the lights on inside your house. It's 7 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, whatever. Turn the lights on. Okay? It's going to get dark. It might as well be midnight. That was paradise at 10 o'clock in the morning. And it might as well have been 2 o'clock in the morning. Right? Turn the lights on. Close all the doors and windows. You don't want embers, smoke, any opportunity for fire to get into the house. Leave the doors unlocked. Okay, and we've had that too. If the corner of your roof catches on fire, or if there is an opportunity that there's a spot and we can get into your house, pull the ceiling and hit it. If your door's locked, and get in. Leave it unlocked. Open and remove combustible curtains. Okay, radiant heat. We don't want to set the inside of the house on fire. Okay, move furniture away from your windows. Move combustibles away from your home. That's 0 to 5. Get everything 5 feet away. Bamboo shades, patio furniture. If you've got metal furniture with combustible cushions, take the cushions and just put them inside the house. Okay. Wet down areas that are vulnerable for embers. Okay. We're going to talk about this in a second, but before you go, if you have time, right? Take your garden hose. Get your roof wet. Not that the roof's going to burn, but the water's going to come down and go into your gutters. If there's any debris in your gutters, it's going to get wet. So the chance of an ember catching on fire reduces your risk. So squirt your roof. Make sure the gutters get wet. That 5 feet from your house, get it wet. Okay. All we're doing is lessening our chance for an ember to catch something on fire. We're not fighting this fire. Just get it wet, and then we're done. Okay. Run sprinklers. Turn your sprinklers for 10 or 15 minutes. But then shut them off. Right. Okay? Your gutters. Put some water in your gutters. Everything from 0 to 5. Just get it wet. And then leave. Do not leave your home with waters running. Don't put sprinklers on the roof. Jay, this is one of my favorite story. Interesting story. This was in Malibu, right? Was it Woolsey or...
With the one that it was
the neighbor, the neighbor saved his friend.
My neighborhood.
Yeah, was it? This guy put sprinklers all over his roof and turned them on and left. Well, what do sprinklers do in a 60-mile-an-hour wind? Got his neighbor's house soaking wet. It was beautiful, nice and safe. Did nothing for himself. But it was evacuated, and the water ran for 5 days?
Oh my.
Almost $2,000 bill.
$2,000 of water. What kind of water damage is that causing to the house? So, and obviously the water the water pressure and the water is needed for firefighting. If everyone did that, then the hydrants do. So don't put your. There's a sign. All we're trying to protect is the ember cast, because we already have the 0 to 30 and the 100, and we've ember resisted our house. We're just trying to keep those embers from igniting. We're almost done here. A garden hose, just for an example, reaches about 15 to 20 feet, about 15 to 25 gallons per minute. A fire hose, 100 feet, 100 plus gallons per minute. I've been on a fire hose on top of a house, flowing water, and it's going from me to you and then heading sideways, and we dropped the hose and ran. Okay. Here's a secret: firefighters fighting a wildfire. Jay, what do you think the percentage is done with a fire hose? We're not putting wet stuff on the red stuff. Okay, we do it by bulldozing a line, getting the fuel out, lighting a backfire, letting that fire get pulled up into the other fire. We're removing that fuel. The science behind what's called a British thermal unit: fire is creating heat, an exothermic reaction. Water absorbs the heat, an endothermic. You have to have more water to make it work. It doesn't work. It's impossible in a wildfire. So we don't fight fires with water. So don't try to fight a wildfire with a garden hose, because I won't do it with a fire hose. Okay? I think I made that point. Okay. The fire department would never let you stay in your house if it's on fire. If your house is on fire, you call at 2 o'clock, and when the fire department comes, you're in your living room going, bedroom's on fire, but I'm going to stay. Is the fire department going to let you stay? Of course not. It's kind of silly, but you know what? They're not going to let you stay in the area during a wildfire either. So if the fire department says, leave, please leave. Okay? That's even different from the sheriff's department. You know, the sheriff's departments are going to come through and they're going to announce, and please leave. If it's the fire department, it's some serious stuff. Okay. Public education. I didn't have a good transition. The April Rich and Jay show. We're available if there's other HOAs or other fire safety councils. We're available. We love doing this stuff. We're doing it because it's in our blood. And so please, if you think of other people that could use this information, let us know. We have a podcast. So tune into All Things Wildfire. We have a studio.
Is that in here?
I don't know if it's in there.
No.
No, but we can get that information to you. Yeah. So a very interesting podcast. Last week's podcast was a survivor of the Lahaina fire. So interesting. So it all boils down and starts with the science. You all remember the fire triangle from junior high school. Heat, fuel, and oxygen. That's what it takes for fire. To have this understanding, you got to get to the basics. Okay. Then we move into the wildfire triangle. Weather, fuel, topography. What are the influences? We have to have a complete understanding of that so we know what to do. Once we have that understanding, we've got the triangle of the home hardening, the vegetation management, the LTR, the sprinkler systems, the frosting on the cupcake. And lastly, you need to have a good understanding of the relationship between the homeowner, your insurance carrier, and the fire professionals. And all of those things together is what makes Allied apart from anybody else. I didn't want to make this a commercial. That's as far as it goes.
Before we get into the questions, I'd like to thank our speaker,
Thank you very much.
and we wanted to give you and your crew
Oh, thank you very much.
We really appreciate you coming down
thank
here
you.
to do this for us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you guys.
And we'd like to now get into some questions and answers if you guys have any. But if you do leave, please remember to bring take a bag with you, because we've got a lot of information from Rich in there. Thanks for coming.
That was a lot of information we went through.
Yes.
Hopefully you have enough to take this from here. We can do your own research and learn more.
Take one of our
How do
cards.
we get an appointment? Like you said, you guys come out and
Take
do.
a card.
You can give us a scan.
Just do that?
Yeah, you can give us a call or scan or make contact with April.
Okay.
We'll be glad to come out and talk to you.
Okay.
It'd be great if you wanted us to come do an assessment and look at your home. It'd be great if we had multiple people doing it because we are driving from Pasadena. So
who else today wants them to come to you there?
we'll talk to your neighbor. Yeah. And we'll try to do it in one day. Well, we will
Come out again.
we'll
not
come
today.
down.
We
We'll
don't want
come-
you to leave yet. You can't
Oh.
go back to Pasadena though. Traffic's not good, so stick
I
around.
told you my grandson's home all weekend, so I got to be with him. But no, we'll come.
Try to
We'd
get
be
a-
glad to come down, even if it's one person.